भगवत्पादाचार्योभ्यो नमो नमः। नारायण परिपूर्ण गुणार्णवाय विश्वोदय स्थितितो लयन्नियतिप्रदाय ज्ञानप्रदाय विबुधासुर सौख्य दुःख सत्कारणाय विददाय नमो नमस्ते। यो विप्रलिम्ब विपरीत मतिप्रबोधान् वादान् निरस्य कृतवान् भुवितत्ववादं सर्वेश्वरो हरिरीति प्रतिपादकं तम् आनन्दतीर्थमुनिवर्यं नमामि। पूज्याय राघवेन्द्राय सत्यधर्मरताय च भजतां कल्पवृक्षाय नमतां कामधेनुवे। सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Welcome friends, we are into the middle part of the second Valli where we are talking about the Om. Because for Nachiketa's third question, when he has asked, because whether the soul is really surviving after the demise of the body, but for that, he has not given an answer, he has simply been giving an indirect answer. And it perhaps, he wants to convey, how great is that answer. Perhaps there is no other answer. That's how, he is going to proceed. So we have seen the mantra, the sloka in the 15th mantra of this Kathopanishad, when we said, Sarva Veda Yatpadam Amananti. See, Sarva Veda Yatpadam Amananti, because in Vedas, all the mantras of Vedas finally will recite, because Rig Veda, it is supposed to be 4.32 billion letters, 432 crore letters of Rig Veda, all of them point to one power. So that power is the Brahman. That's what he says. You may consider, some may consider it is Vishnu, some may consider it is Shiva, some may consider it is absolute consciousness, whatever it is. But as far as he is concerned, it is the 432 crores of letters in Rig Veda. When you visit the major Veda, because in fact, just to bring our attention to that, the Vedas were only one. There was no that 4 Vedas initially and all. But people could understand, master it, during the earlier yugas like Treta Yuga and all, when Satya Yuga and Treta Yuga, because people had such a capacity to do that and all. But progressively, as the yugas were coming, the yugas were forming. Afterwards, Dwapara Yuga, the capacity of the people have come down little less than what it was in Dwapara Yuga. That is why when Vyasa, he took the occasion to divide the Vedas into 4 parts, so that people may not be able to master the entire Veda. That is why Vyasa is nothing but division. He divided the whole Veda. That is why Vyasa is called. Vyasa in Sanskrit is dividing. He divided into 4 parts of the Veda, that Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharvana, because that's how he did it. But basically, Samaveda is nothing but the mantras from Rig Veda, but they have been given a tune and the way to pronounce the mantras, as well as the syllable, how it has to be taken, how it has to be taken, the rule for that. That's why Samaveda is supposed to be more like a sort of performing art, because you can recite the mantra in about 100 ways, because that's what the Samaveda exponents, they mastered that. It came about, he divided that so people can understand and absorb the entire contents of the Veda. But all the Vedas, all the letters, they point out to only one particular the power, that is the Brahman. That is the absolute power that is called. Sarva Veda Yat Padam, because it gives the Swarupa of that power. Yat Padam is nothing but the Swarupam, in the sense whether you call it absolute consciousness or Sarva Guna Paripurna. They say he is complete, in every aspect of it. Whatever energy you think of, he is consisting of all the energies. He is consisting of everything and all. Whatever way you can try to assume, it is there, And Amananti, it is the one finally points out. How it points out? When you are able to take the Vedas, the contents, by constant, the Shravana, Manana, and Nitidhyasana, when you do it, you are able to get that. That is the final one. Sarva Veda Yatpadam Amananti, that is the one finally it is there. Tapamsi sarvani cha yat vadanti. Whoever is doing all the penance, whoever is doing everything to perfection, whoever is trying to achieve, whatever they want to finally get that, the inexhaustible, the immortal bliss, what they want to be. It's not the temporary happiness. It's not amusement. It is not a happiness that's going to be here for a few moments and vanish. It is not that. He wants to get that. See, this is the one he said. Finally, he says one more word. Yat icchanto brahmacharyam charanti. Because whoever wants to get that final bliss, so they are observing brahmacharyam in the sense, because they are focusing their entire energy into that. Brahmacharyam, it's a celibacy is one way of doing it. They're focusing the entire energy in understanding that. Understanding the nuances of it. Everything. Charanti, tate padam sangrahena bravimyo, because they are the one finally the goal one has to the tat padam sangrahena. Finally, that is the goal a person has to have if he wants to get the heaven. That is what I am telling you. I am declaring it. It is the Om. That's what he says. So then, because we will be seeing, we have discussed about the Om, how it is, it is going beyond the Bhuta, Bhavishya and the Vartaman. All the three, it is, yeah, we saw that, Edat Che Aksharam Brahma, Edat, it is going beyond everything. That is why it is a primordial power. Every mantra starts from Om. And we also said that the first primordial, that Om after that, the first mantra that is formed is Gayatri. How Gayatri, has been formed, because we said, it has got, from 24 letters from Valli-Sacred Ramayana, from every 1,000 letters. It also describes the Gayatri, and it also describes the Vyahriti, how the whole world has been formed. When you mean Brahman, why do you call him? What is the great quality? What is Shadguna, they say, because that we will see what are all those Shadgunas. It will be explained in one more Upanishad, which will be coming. So in brief, what we will be doing, he is the one who is capable of creating, maintaining, and then destroying. Because Srishti, Sthiti, then Pralayam. All the three will do it. Are you not able to hear? Voice is okay? Srishti, Sthiti. Are you able to hear? Voice is okay? I think Padmanabhan, you will have to mute your mic. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. So the one who can create, one who can maintain, and one who can finally the cause of destruction, he is the only the Brahman whom we call. When he says, it is basically what is happening is the elevation of your thoughts. The thoughts, whenever it comes, it's not permanent, it is going out. Finally, because the thought's impermanent, that's going out. Finally, you are going into the permanent by virtue of going beyond, you are transcending your body, mind, and intellect. So that is where, that is going to be when we say, the soul is permanent. Soul is permanent in the sense it is able to have the constancy of the purpose in which it is able to enjoy the continuous bliss. That is why it is permanent. And it doesn't have anything. But as long as it is having a unfulfilled desires, it has got the desire component in there. It has to come back to this world, experience it every time, again and again. So the next mantra, whatever we have discussed, again it has been taken to two different steps to explain how great this primordial power is. Yedat Hi eva aksharam brahma. The next mantra 1.2.16 in your page 53 is there. Yedat hi eva aksharam brahma, yedat hi eva aksharam param, yedat hi eva aksharam jnatva, yo yat ichchati tasya tat. See this mantra, it appears to be when you see, you will find, it's a simple mantra as it is and all. It is the only, when we say aksharam, any word that is being, whenever in Sanskrit, in Vedic literature and scriptural literature, when aksharam it is there, it is the imperishable, and he is the one who is finally the primordial power. Aksharam is, he doesn't have any restriction. He is always going to be there. He was there earlier. He is going to be there and all. Anything you define as Aksharam is like that. From Aksharam only, we have got the letters. The Aksharam and all the 51 letters in Sanskrit, each letter represents the primordial power. So every letter have got, because Aja, Ananda, everything has got a connotation. Finally, it points out to the Brahman. They are indestructible. But then, the words can't explain human fully. But that is why you will have to transcend the body, mind and intellect. Yadatyeva Aksharam Brahma, in the sense, the first one when they say, it is the sort of the Saguna Brahman. Saguna Brahman in the sense, Yadatyeva Aksharam Brahma in the sense, you try to have a word, because Nirguna Brahman, Saguna Brahman, that is the concept that is frequently used in scriptures. And there are Shrutis, they say both of them, both Nirguna Brahman also it explains, and Saguna Brahman also it explains. And how people have taken it is, whatever, Vidya, I think you have to put a headphone on. The Saguna Brahman, because he's the one where you think, it has got a form. It has got form or whatever, you think, Ishta Devata, what we call. See, everyone has got Ishta Devata. Some people, having a Ganesha as the Ishta Devata. Some people have Devi as the Ishta Devata, Vaishnavi Devi. If you go to, because northern part, Vaishnavi Devi is very popular, because they take it as a symbol through which, they are getting elevated. So likewise, Shaivites are there, because Shiva is the way of getting elevated. So the Bhakti school, they extol extensively on Vishnu, then Vishnu is considered to be. Whatever you do, when you are having a Ishta Devata, you try to surrender to that Ishta Devata, but when you are invoking that Ishta Devata, what you are doing, you are trying to get the internal, intrinsic power of the Ishta Devata in you so that it guides you. That is normally when you are doing a puja of a particular deity or Devi puja or anything like that, when you are doing that, what you are doing is whatever your internal power, which is in your Antaratma, who is residing in Guhareshnam, he is there inside you, you are trying to see, he is being manifested in the whatever the photo or the pratima, whatever you are doing, you try to have it and you are able to get that power into you to guide. This is what happens. When it happens, what happens, you mechanically you do, I think during that moment, you get it. Otherwise, when you are doing, for the 15 minutes puja or 1 hour puja and all, you try to focus basically onto that, that is your Ishta Devata. You are enjoying it in the sense, because you got Ishta Devata, you have been doing it. Maybe, your family has been doing it. So that is the practice that has come about for generations. Every family has got some, we have got a Kula Devam, in South. All of us, if you ask me what is the Kula Devam, some of us will say Tirupati and some of them will say, there are so many temples in this thing because there are so many Kula Devams are there. In for some of the people, it is somewhere in some Vishnu Mandirs are there in down south. They are also, and some people, somewhere up north also. Kolhapur is a Kuladevam for some people. Likewise, everywhere they are having it. The idea is whatever you do to start with, you go there and start. And you surrender yourself. Let the beginning be auspicious. Let everything be auspicious. So, Yedat Hi Eva Aksharam Brahma, in the sense, when you are doing that, when you are surrendering it, you are trying to find a happiness. It is like the happiness what we are having is sort of a temporary happiness to start with, but by practice, you will be able to enjoy that happiness. Because Ishta Devata gives, because very often people do it, with so intensely. What happens, it is like taking a chocolate. When you are taking a chocolate, what do? You just don't munch it and take it down. You just take it, enjoy it, park it on your left side and try to enjoy it. Then take it to your right and then try to. Children do it much better than what we do because we are not conscious of that. Children have still the innocence to enjoy what is there at that moment. So that mindfulness, Etat Ihi Eva Aksharam Brahma, in the sense mindfulness at that point of time and get into that. When you are doing puja, be in that. When you are trying to surrender yourself, be in that. Don't think of anything else. Now after the puja, after 10 minutes, I will get a call and all. Don't think about anything. You think about the call after 10 minutes when it's likely to come, not when you are doing it and all. So to have that mindfulness, like a children enjoy a piece of chocolate, to the fullest, the bliss. So we should also be able to enjoy. That is what etat hi evam aksharam brahma, etat hi eva aksharam param. Finally, because there is nothing more than that. Because when you go beyond that, when you have, because after this abhyasa, once you get that upasana and all, what you always have is, finally that bliss that guides you. That bliss, because always, even when there is ups and downs in your life, when there are certain things, inexplicable, everyone will think, and no one will be able to understand my problem. Because for you, it is so big at that moment. So you want to somehow confront and get a solution for that. So at that point of time, it guides you. Because you will never have a feeling that you don't have anyone. You've got someone who is there with you. And not only that, he's chatting with you, he's going to take you. Edatve aksharam param. That is what you look. Edatve aksharam jnatva. Once you know that highest power and make a part of you, even if you are alone and your children are abroad, or even if you are alone, you are living somewhere, because you left and you wanted to pursue a life and you've gone there and all. You don't think, I don't have anybody, because when you see all others, they may be having a family get together and they may be going, with the friends and family here and there. You can, because you have a feeling, look, no, I don't have anyone and all, that feeling will not come to you. When you are able to get that status, that is one, when you have really taken him as a part of you. Surrender, Saranagati, what they say. Saranagati is just be with him and just be part of him. So you take everything. He is part of your successes, he was part of your failure, and he is going to get you. Once you have it, nothing will happen. See, for instance, we had the Ramanavami yesterday. The name of Rama is so important, because though all of us know about it, everywhere it is being talked about it, how many of us felt, that has to be seen. I will narrate two instances where I have seen how this name has created a magic, how this name has created a sort of a will to go through the entire thing. One instance was when I was just about 8-9 years old. We were, because Rameshwaram, there was a place called Dhanushkoti. It was not there. Now part of it has been retrieved. During the flood, there was a storm. The entire Dhanushkoti got vanished. So in those days, from Rameshwaram to go to Dhanushkoti, it was a boat, masted boat with high mast. They used to unflag the entire mast, and then by the wind power, it was going. When you sit in that particular boat, the boat almost sinks into the sea, and just about 1 feet out of you, the full sea is there, and 40-50 people used to sit in it. Those of them, who have come from up north, those who have not seen the sea at all, because the Madhya Bharat, maybe from UP or Bihar, wherever, there's no seashore, they all really get. But what they do, the moment it gets, the name of Ram was so resounding, the entire open sea, the only name you are in, apart from the the sound of the waves, it is the only Ram. I was just 8-9 years old at that point of time. You are just, because the entire boat has immersed into the water, and through the wind power of the mast, it is going. And it's just about, of course, 25-30 minutes journey in those days. So during that part, because you are at the mercy of the wind and the sea only. At that point of time, I could imagine people had a clean belief. Just they closed their eyes and they were only chanting Ram. Another thing happened was sometime in late 70s and all, I happened to be in UP, because in Allahabad, where the Sangam is there. I saw how great faith is there in them. Lot of people who couldn't afford, because even the minimum possible life, because economically they are so weak, but their only belief is Ram. Of course, reason for their sort of, these status is politicians and so many things happens. But in spite of all the arts, whenever they have to come to take dip in Ganges and all, they used to walk miles and only chanting the name of Ram. And for anything, because for anything that happens to them, they only chant the name of the Ram. Such a blind faith. It's a blind faith in the sense they think that is the only support that gives to them. Because we may be having all the facilities, we may be going here and there, but we may always be thinking of what next to be done, what next to happen, because again, having our own insecurities, problems and all. For them, they have left everything. The one and the only support is Ram. Likewise, because this, when you say Om, when all other support leaves you, the one and the only support there will be is Om. Because we said, because when from Om, the first thing that has emerged is Gayatri. Gayatri is Gayantam Trayate Gayatri. So when who is being, because entire whatever the highest power, how Vyahritis, how who is the creator of the entire all the three Vyahritis, Om, Bhuhu, Bhuvaha, Suvaha, and who is the one who is created. When you talk about all the Vyahritis, you talk about him. That is the Gayanti. You are singing his praise. By singing his praise, you have got the support of him. And when we do recite Gayatri, we recite Gayatri at the auspicious occasions. When you take a bath in the river, Ganges, and you do it and you just give Argyam. Argyam in the sense you take water in your hands and towards the sun, you offer it to the sun god. So what does it mean? Because it is not that you are giving a simple offering of yours and all. When you are reciting Gayatri in full intonation, with a full concentration, it is like a Vajrayuta. So when you are offering 3 Argyas, it is like a 3 Vajrayutas. So 3 Vajrayutas against what? Which demons or anything. In fact, there is a story, because there was Mandeha and Rakshasa group was there. They did lot of tapas and they got the sort of boon from Brahma that they can even take the sun out. But in order to then Brahma having, he being always pleased and offering boon, he offered, but he doesn't know what to do and all. Finally, the Gayatri, when it came, through the Gayatri, when everyone was, he said everyone will be offering Argya, that Argya becomes a Vajrayuta, and all the Vajrayutas will be taking away all those Rakshasas and sun will be protected. That is that is the Puranas say. But apart from that, when we are offering, what it happens? It is the Vajrayuta against our own demons. What are all those demons? The Ramanavami, what we call it, because the Rama is called the Dasarathi. Dasarathi is Dasaratha's Putra. That is one meaning of that. Another meaning is Dasarathi is the person who can control 10 chariots effortlessly. What are all those 10 chariots? That is Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas. As we have seen in the metaphor in the Kathopanishad also, the Jnanendriyas and Karmendriyas are the one, if he is able to, he is the one who controls, he is Dasarathi. And Ravana is being also cast, because in the Ramayana he is also being referred to, and he is also being called Dasagriva. Dasagriva is, what is that Dasagriva? It's not the 10 heads he had and all. Basically, because what we are offering this Argyam is against the demons in us. What is the Dasagriva, what we are doing? That is, we have got all the Raha, Dvesha, Kama, Moha, and then Mata, Mascharya, and then we have got, the Mata, Mascharya, Dhamma, and Mada, Mascharya, Dhamma, as well as, we have got, because Jamba, what we call, Jamba is a vanity, what we have got. So Kama, Raga, Dvesha, Kama, Moha, they all create 4 other things. Raga creates hatred, and Moha, but the Krodha comes from Raga, and Dvesha when you create, because then you create lust, and Moha from there you get, because unformidable attachment to the things, and then come Raga, Dvesha, Moha, and then Mada, Mascharya, because jealousy comes. All the 6 they come. Of all the things have come, then Ahankara comes. Once you have all those things, because Ravana's problem is finally he had Ahankara. He was a great tapasvi. He is the one who did tapas and he moved Himalayas, Kailasha also. But then Ahankara didn't leave him. Ahankara is the one which finally gave it to him. And Ahankara, along with Ahankara, he had this Damba. It came about him, and then he had the vanity. So all these things, Dasagriva is because ego, the boosted ego with all these things what we did. It's not only, Vidya Vinaya Sampannaha. When you achieve something also, you have to be the humility personified. The humility at its height should always be there to guide us. If it is not there, we will not be able to get the benefit of whatever we have done. Whatever good deeds, the person might have done wonderful things. He may be highly knowledgeable. But then how many people do remember in the organization? Because normally people do remember who has been very kind and who could be helpful and who could also take the things, because they will also be strict in getting the things done. The way they will be doing it, the process by which be doing it, the words by which they will be, the sweet words they will be sort of taking care, they play with to bring their point of view instead of using hot words. That is really the abhyasa, the strength that comes. When you get all these qualities, you absorb the entire qualities of Om. That is what is it. When you say, when you have all this knowledge, yo yat ichchati tasya tat, whatever you desire for, look for, you will be able to getting it. When you have all these qualities, what you will be looking for? You will be looking for the happiness of the highest. You will not be looking for the transient amusement or temporary happiness and all, because you have gone beyond all that. That's why when you have come here, that's why they say when you recite the word, because Rama, the name itself is sufficient. I said how people have got the faith, whether you call it blind faith or they have got a faith, and the faith carries them. The faith is the raft through which they are able to get through the life. That is how it happens. Even now, because the great Swami Shivananda says the name of Rama is so. In fact, everywhere it says. Even the Alvars, they are also telling. So is because Dasas of Karnataka, Purandara Dasa and all, they say the very pronouncement of Ram Nam is itself is enough. He says, once you recite the name from the mouth itself, that is good enough. You don't have to do any other great charities and all. That itself is good. And you don't have to do any other tapas. That's what he says. But is it true? How is it that? You really see, because this is what the people have practiced. And they have also done. When you say Rama, see, it has got so many interpretations. Ra in the sense it is without any blemish. Ma in the sense it is taking you to the highest bliss, Satchitananda, it takes you to that. That is the normal etymological interpretation. And another thing is they are telling Rama is Om Namo Narayana, from there Ra has been taken. Om Namah Shivaya, from there Ma has been taken. So whatever you think, everything is combined into the one word. So that takes you to the highest. And this word has got such a power, because more you are able to bring it and make it part of your sort of a process. People say, in Hyderabad, we have got a place, because called Koti. Koti is Ram Koti. There are people who have recited the Rama's name for almost 1 crore times, written his name 1 crore times. So many people used to do in those days, it seems. That is why that entire place is used to be known as Ram Koti, but now it is being called colloquially as Koti. So this is what has been done. And in fact, because one of the acharyas pointed out, whenever you have anything, because to ponder on anything, that agitates you, you just recite the name and be silent, you go into the secluded place or calm place or make yourself and recite, 10, 12, whatever is possible, you are able to do that. You do as many times as possible. I think that gives you a focus of that. You may not be doing meditation, always. Maybe you may do 1 hour earlier in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. But you do this name. It has got such a power. See, etymologically also, because scripturally the interpretation is Sita is the mind, Rama is the Brahman. So finally, when the mind goes out, when the mind has been taken out, like, as she has been taken to Lanka and all, finally when Brahman, comes there and finally he gets you, because she has already surrendered. And she is a Mahalakshmi, she is part of it. Though, in the manifest form, they have been Rama and Sita. In the unmanifest, because they are always Mahalakshmi and Narayana like that. So when that is there, the mind and the Brahman comes, you are always mindful of it. At that point of time, you are not bothered about anything else. And that is how it's brought. And this Edatve Aksharam Brahma, Edatve Aksharam Param, in the sense, and finally that is what has to happen. From mind gets surrendered and it is taken in by the primordial power. It is not, you are getting into the primordial power. You are going to offer, you are being taken in. You don't get when you get a realization, in the sense you have been taken in Sauchalyam and Saulabhyam, because what they say in Visishtadvaita, you just become a part of it and you are being protected. You've got a protective sort of a coat around you. You've got a security, because it's like as you've got security software and you've got a security software. You've got everything secured. So whatever happens to you will be securely happening and you don't have to bother about it. So this is what in the scope of covered by this womb. And in this, when it is being said, see, okay, you have so much said about the womb. I will do that, and I know this is it, but still, I am yet to get the final answer for this. It is only a sort of a rephrasing the entire question and answer, but the final answer is to come in as many words as you would like. So again, because Yama doesn't leave there, he says, he goes further. If you see the 1.2.17, there is a mantra in page 54. Yedat alambanam sreshtam. In the sense, it is the highest, the best symbol anywhere you can get. The primordial symbol, you can't, alambanam in the sense, you can't get anything. Alambanam is used in Sanskrit to represent the highest, because it is being used, because romantically also in Kalidasa has used, everyone has used. It is like when you are getting, the Manmata and Rati, because when they were creating, the atmosphere for the romance and all, it is Alambana Vaibhava, because anything Alambana is taking it to the highest plenitude. Plenitude is beyond that, nothing can happen. It goes to that level. Yetat Alambanam Sreshtam. Sreshtam in the sense, because we say Sreshta and Preshta when you say. Sreshtam is beyond that, nothing is there. It is the only thing that is good and it is the only thing best for everyone. Yetat Alambanam Param. Beyond that, nothing. Whether you want to call it consciousness in the sense, absolute. Beyond that, nothing is there. And that is the only thing, which must have existed when nothing was there in this entire world. Yedat alampanam nyatva, once you do that, Brahmaloke mahiyate. See, when Brahmaloke mahiyate, Brahmalokam in the sense, we see, it is finally the liberation. Whether we go to Vaikunta, Kailasha, or Brahmaloka, we call it mahiyate. Brahmalokam in the sense, it is that kind of a place. Finally, you get, it is though not only the doors of heaven, beyond the heavens. The heavens is the one, because which you want to get, to enjoy all our good deeds in this birth. Now you want to go beyond that. There is no more sort of a reason for you to come back, because you don't have any desire left. You have already surrendered. You have been taken in. So once you have been taken in, you will have to be taken to the abode when he is there only. That is Brahmaloka. Once you goes there, I think nothing else is required. Therefore, whether the soul, because he indirectly says how you will go after the demise of the body, the soul will go. Now indirectly tells the soul exists and soul will go, and then there are a lot of interpretation. Soul is still guided by the primordial power till such time it is getting fully liberated. Because there is a krama mukti, what they say. Krama mukti is in our scriptural parlance, there is you will be able to get, because there is a gradation, because you will have to elevate in the sense like getting a postgraduate and then a graduate, postgraduate and a PhD and then postdoctoral, likewise, because it's also gradation in the sense your elevation goes in such a level you reach the highest. Once you reach the highest, you are next only to absolute, next only to the primordial power. In the sense, you don't have any more, this in this business of coming into this world again and again. So you don't have to come again and again. And how it happens, because it may happen, it is by accident also it can happen, or not certainly it's not necessary. When you feel it is an accident, it is something which you have done earlier, much earlier. All those things have been accumulated, and they drive you, they propel you to a level where you are able to get the benefit of no more births and deaths. It is, you are getting it the highest bliss, which is the goal of every human being having coming into this world and taking a human form. Durlabham Manushya Janmanam, having taken this Manushya Janma, that is the only final goal, not other goal, not that, I should become a billionaire, I should have a house, those are all, because it's all nothing, because it's all just to be thrown away, as Nachiketa has said in the first chapter itself. These are all, I think, these are all alpam, these are all alpam. Even if you get to the whole world, it is alpam, because you are looking for something much beyond value, invaluable, which you can't explain. It's more to be experienced. That's what it comes. So when that comes only, because this concept, how it happens and all. See, we have seen the great, because this has been explained in different way in Ramayana also. Throughout the Ramayana, Rama never discloses that he is an avatar of Vishnu. It is only for others to interpret, others to find coincidences, to see that he is the avatar. Till then, Rama never discloses. No one knows, and only few people know. One person who knows is, because the Kausalya, she knows, she is given, he knows, because by birth itself, it's not an ordinary child, it is something different. Of all the people who know is Mandodari. It comes in that Yuddhakanda, she says, I know you are not an ordinary human being. You could not have done that. I know who you are. So finally you give the liberation. She knows that. So these two people know that. So that is, it is like that, when it is said, and how Valmiki has maintained, throughout, in couched in his poetry, you will not be able to do that, but he has given enough hints everywhere and all. So Valmiki also, if his life, if you look into, as he is a Ratnakar. He was one of the, he was a dacoit. He was looting everyone. In fact, he has taken the properties of also Saptarishis. He is supposed to have kept it and all, because he was so deadly dacoit. And they were doing one day, because the Naradas come in his way, because he appeared before him and asked him, what is that you are doing? Is it that, are you happy about doing it? No, I am not doing it for me. I am doing it for my family. Because most of us give the alibi, I am doing it for the family. Why are you doing all this? Because the businessman also says, I have to do all these things, because I have got a lot of employees to be looked after. I have to look after my family. How am I to do it? Because I am little bit here and there. Chalta hai. Everyone is doing. I am also doing. That's how it comes. It is an answer like that. I am doing it for the family. You just see exactly what happens now. The same thing has happened when Narada has asked the same question. Then Narada asked him, if it is so, why don't you go and ask your family? Is it that, do they want you to do like this so that then they can be happy? His family said, you don't know what you are doing. You are keeping us happy. You are bringing a lot of things and all. But we are not going to take your sins. We will not be taking even a point of your skin. The sins are for you. If you are doing some sins, because don't give it. It is for you. We will not be responsible for that. So then he realized, for whom he is doing. You always think, it is an alibi. We think, I am doing it because there is no other way. See, we can see that everyday life. So even anything, in complying with the law, or, even doing something, which is not correct, ethically also we do, what everyone is doing, I have to do because I have to do the family, I have to do it for the children. We give an alibi and we give a justification. It is not so. They don't want you to do, but you think you have to do, and because you are convinced you have to do it, because you have got a sort of a desire to do, you are doing it. That is your problem. It is not their problem. Then he know that he gave up the entire thing. And then, because we know how he started doing the tapas, and he almost became an anthill. Valmiki, in the sense, nothing but Sanskrit, it is anthill. So once he became a part of the anthill, the name itself stuck to him. And finally, because he had an encounter with Vasishtha, and he also wanted to be, because Vasishtha with his power, because he became a big king and all, then he thought, with his power he can go and take Vasishtha into anything and all. He couldn't do it. Finally, he also realized, he has to sort of, they go by the normal path only. He became such a great tapasvi. He great the Adi Kavi, the first and the foremost of the entire Sanskrit literature, the Ramayana, he gave it. So when he gave it, and at that point of time also, once he gave up, his family, doesn't know that and all. Then he said, why don't you do, because at least think of the God and do it. All the Devas and Narada, they were all there. He asked him, I don't know what to do, what to say and all. There, he tried to teach him. Nothing went into his mind because he was always a Decite. So they showed him the two tree. What is this? He says, Mara, he said. Why don't you say Mara, Mara and all and all this? See, Mara is a word, it comes in our Upanishad. The Mara is the one which has got the beginning and end. Like every being, it will come and it will decay and go off. Mara is the one. Rama is the conversant. It is imperishable, permanent, always there. Mara is the one which is impermanent and vanish, in like a jiffy. It is transient, ephemeral, but Rama is permanent. Because when he said Mara, Mara and all, automatically in the cycle, in the loop, it got Rama and all. He went steadfast onto that and the anthill was created around him. He became like that. So from a sinner, he became almost a saint. That is only the name of Rama. So Rama's name is so powerful. That's why even now, most of the places, they say, because we may not be feeling it, we may not be doing it, so consciously. We may not be seeing the effect of it or not realizing the effect of it. But when you see so many people who have got the benefit of it and who have seen it, and when you try to do, certainly, because you can see that, because we all of us, have practiced sometime or other, we are practicing it. And still we are trying to perfecting it. Once you have this theme, when you have something and all, even when you think, unwanted thought comes and all, take a 10 minutes off, just Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. You recite, very, very enjoy it like children taking the chocolate. And in an isolated place you enjoy it. That will give you the right idea, right solution. You will find a sort of solution for all your problems. Whatever is bothering you, you will not have the agitation no longer. This is exactly said, same thing is for Om. See, Om, when all the acharyas, they get the diksha, whether it is Visishtadvaita, Advaita, Tattvavada, Advaita and all, what the acharyas are giving the upadesha to the new entrant who becomes a monk, who becomes an acharya, it is Om. Om Upasana is a great Upasana. And Om Upasana, to do it, they have to do it, right from early morning onwards. They have got a count. So many counts. Sometimes, people lack of times, they will have to do that. And because their food will have to be frugal, because they can't be taking anything in Kanchi and in other places. They take only through morsels of food, only once. Not the second time they don't take it. So that discipline has been brought in, because your body has got the power, your spirit has got the power, your soul has got the power. You are not able to access. Guhahitam Gahavarishtam, we were not able to access that power. To access that only you have this Upasana done. So once you get to the Upasana done, the worshipper and the worshipped, or even Ishtadevata and you almost become so close and full energy is coming into you. And see, that is why, whenever we go to the temple, because the temple, there is one word in Sanskrit called alayaha. Alayaha in the sense merging. Whatever power, Ishtadevata, whatever puja, you are getting merged into that. That is why in Tamil word for the temples is alayam. The pure Tamil word for temple is alayam. So that alaya is always being used wherever you get the pristine pure knowledge or pristine pure effect of that. Like, because pustakala, when you say, there is only, books are available, the knowledge, because by reading the books don't lose anything. Books are going to be there. You will take the knowledge and go. Books are permanent. If you go to library and read the books, you have whatever knowledge you are capable of absorbing, what is your mindset and your ability to absorb and how to get it and all. The book is going still to having. The same book must have been read by thousands of people. But 10 people must have become, something of a very phenomenal one, because their absorption will be there. But books are permanently there. Likewise, Himalaya, when we say Hima is the snow. The snow-clad mountain, the entire mountain, that is Himalaya. When it came, it's a young mountain. By geologically, amongst the world mountains, it's the youngest of mountains. When the Himalaya is there, because when the pristine pure snow is there and the effect of it, the whiteness of the snow is carrying the same divinity around the entire thing. That's why so many, always we think, when you are going tapas, you are going to Himalayas. You may not be able to go even 100 feet above the 1000 feet above the Himalayas and stay there for more than 10 days and all. But everyone wants to think, they will go to Himalayas and do that and all. But those who have gone there and experienced that, and people are still there, because we don't know that it is there and all. So that is, they are there for lifelong and they have experienced that. By how they have experienced, how they are able to withstand, because such a intemperate weather, when it is so cold, so for us it is intemperate. For them, it is always same. And they say, stay somewhere and all, and they come somewhere, and whether they get the food material, whether there is any facility and all, they are, some people are, because they say beyond 100 years, 200 years, they say it is still there, they are all there. How is it possible? It is all happening and all. Because finally they have got into this particular thing, so totally got merged into the primordial power, it is there. So once you get into that, that is the status. You don't have to worry about anything. Whatever you desire and you want to get into, because you want to get over certain things, that will also happen. Everything will happen. This is what the exactly, this mantra has said. So when it has been said, because the Om has been explained so far, and if Om Upasana, once it has been done, it has been taken to such a great level, and if that is isn't, if I am doing that alone, you will be able to realize this is what is. This Om has got a connotation because in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself says, I am nothing but Om. We don't search for any other mantra. Even Pranava mantra is good enough. The etymologically it says, you may be knowing the entire Vedas, you may be a master of Vedas. In spite of it, if you have not understood the Vyahritis, the Gayatri, properly and the Om, no use. You have to understand the Om. You have to understand then from there, the Gayatri has to be understood. So I am there, Pranava. For that only he says, thousands of people are attempting to know me, only few succeed to get who succeed to make an attempt. Out of that also only few try to finally realize me. He says it is rarest of rare. That is why Yama is emphasizing. It is that, because you will have to understand that, because what is that Om? Because we know Isavashyam, Idagam Sarvam, Yatkincha Jagatyam. He is there everywhere in the world. He is also in our heart. He is a Guhahistam, Gahvarishtam. He is also inside you. But how to understand him? So there was a story, I think it is just, I have narrated long before. Chinmayananda, his life is a great story to know about it. He was a journalist who was looking for all the frauds and unwanted things committed by the saints in Haridwar and Rishikesh. He thinks they are all cheating people. He was way back in 20s, 30s, late 20s and early 30s. He went to Haridwar and looked for the story. He was working for an English journal. He was a journalist. He looked for that. He got the stories from here, and this man is doing, he is materializing something, making people full of it. He gives, people to follow blindly and all those things. He was trying to make all the stories. Finally, when he had, by how he could enter, how he could encounter, it is again God's grace. He encountered Swami Sivananda in Rishikesh. When finally he encountered Swami Sivananda, he patiently heard him. He also said, what your apprehension is correct, because there could be a lot of people who may be doing it. So what, what is that you want to do? Because you want to write something, okay, write to your heart's content. What else? Then he was saying, you want to know about so many others. Why don't you know about yourself? What are you? Okay, you will write this and that. And what is that, you want to finally get into and all? Then when he is asked the same question as Vivekananda has asked, if only you know who you are, that led Chinmayananda to get into the path of spiritual. Then he wanted to know the entire scriptures and the entire the Vedanta from the people who are practicing it and who are actually living that life. See, why we are telling, because we have got a very great sort of a uh, pride in telling, because I am spiritual but not religious. It is as if, to be religious is something inferior and to be spiritual is, you are something elevated. It could be, because after all you don't lose your human qualities, you are always elevated. The very purpose of the religion is to make ourselves human, more human than what we are. We may not be human enough to be what we are. As Immanuel Kant has said, we may be treating the human beings and the end. We may not. We may be treating the human beings and the means, but we may not be treating the human beings as the end. Because we are not be giving the same sort of respect and everything as we are having to another person. Because we have got, in our life we have got our own sort of a status, and we have got own way of life. We have got own way of thinking and one way of behaving and living in this life. We may be doing all those things. We may not be still be doing it. But religion, because basically what happens in fact, in one of the lectures, Swami Vivekananda says, you are ordained to be religious even in the womb. The moment, you are being, before you are being brought into this world, you become a committed religious person and come. The religious person is, you will be able to be accord, to know who you are, as well as treat others as you are. That is what he says religion. So you may be a great religious person, but if you are not able to treat others, because that is no effect at all. But to be religious is not bad. To be religious is the means by which you can do. Like in science, you have got theory and practice, where you have to work in the lab and prove it. In the chemistry lab, you will have to create, because phthalic acid, if you want to do, you will have to prepare that. And if the theory, you will be able to science, what are all the ingredients, what is the process, and what are all the reactions that takes place, you do that. You have got a theory and practice. The religion is like that. It imbibes the value, and the rituals are like the practice to slowly bring you to the highest level to realize. It is not that, because I am not religious, I don't bother, because it's all meaningless things. It is not meaningless because you have not understood, nor you have taken effort to understand. This is exactly the problems with the current day sort of youngsters, some of them, but most of them are more enlightened, I should say. They are more enlightened than us. They are gone through it. In fact, they are talking about the lingo, which most of us were not talking, in our time at their age. In fact, because I'm very happy to see, because the current generation is growing by far the best. But then you have got so many people, who say, because they say, look, we don't have any time. You're wasting. Okay, you may be wasting the time. It is not the time component what you are giving. It is the intensity and the effort, sincerity you are giving into that. See, for instance, we are doing, the everyday the ritual, the Sandhya Vandanam, 3 times we are doing it. So we may not be doing, all through, because we might have done sometimes, we might have discontinued, we may be doing it because not so regularly. But now I think, we may be doing it, because we have got the time and we may not. So many things are there. But everything, because there is a way in the religion how to do it and all. It's not that, you totally, don't have to do it. But why we are doing it, because there is always every time when you write it, because like when the Argyam, when we say it's a Vajrayutam, when you give it, it takes away all your raga, dvesha, kama, moha, mada, mascharya, ahankara, bhava, everything, and it takes away. When it takes away, that is the one which has to become, once you make a good person. And then when you do, because even the marjanam and all, when you say, ojosi, because when you say, because in the Gayatri before that, ojosi, in the sense you bring the entire energy into you. And Subhavino Mukakarat, when you say, Tadikravanya Karisham, Subhavino Mukarat, when you say that, let my words come with the fragrance. See, whenever your words come out, when you are talking to someone, you should be able to attracting people. You should not be repulsive. By talking a very hard and hating language and all. Because people should be able to. The sweetness of the words should be there, and the fragrance of the power of your mind should be reflective into it. Because fragrance of the word will attract a lot of people. Like Swami Vivekananda, when he talked about it, is fragrance of his own mind, fragrance of his own thoughts. It was reverberating all through. And when you are talking, people will automatically come to you. And not only that, you will be able to really interact, give your best to them, and get the best out of them. Any discussion is not a sort of the monologue. It is a dialogue. Because always when you do, even people are silent, they are conveying it to you something else. You should be able to take it and absorb it and understand it, absorb it and take it into your internal core, because that is the purpose of it. So that is exactly what this entire thing has been talked about. That is exactly because what we are attempting to. Because when you are doing it, it is not the simple way of simply reciting and all. All these things are helpful, but don't only be stuck on to the rituals and the religiosity, showing that religiosity is showing others that you are religious. No one is bothered whether you are religious or not. You have to be religious for yourself. Because when we are doing morning and when we are doing, because all these, if vibhuti, people are playing, or, because the namam people are playing and everything and all, when they do, the Urdhva Kundara, when you say, when you put, you are taking the Kundalini up. So thoughts go up, when you give a pressure, when you are applying it, automatically, this acupressure takes place and the thoughts elevate, take you at that level. When you do every day and when you do sandhi, because when you are doing offering the prayachitta and when you are doing the entire mantras to elevate you, not only that, it takes away all your toxicity, because toxic thoughts that bombards us. See, it is not always good thoughts come, but when the thoughts comes, you will have to simply observe and reject. It's not that you will be able to sift each thought and all. They will be coming in a facility, but then you will have to be, you should not give any attention to that. That will happen when you are doing these rituals. We can see people how they are talking, because when the Kanchi Shankaracharya and all, when they talked about and all, we know how they have talked and how they have found it, because their Agnya Chakra was active. But the Kundalini, because the rituals, what they are doing every day as a matter of routine, practice, it is a must to be in the being, to be in the, then it is not that you could be spiritual, but without these practices help you to take you into that level. And you may write a tree on a paper that will only denote tree, but only when you go and actually see a tree, touch its bark and touch its flowers and touch its leaves, then you understand. It is like the ritual is like that. The rituals are very important. Religiosity is something, which always develop you into the higher plane. But you don't have to be too religious because people are trying to be too religious only to show others. You don't have to be, because you may be religious, but within the confines of your house, in the confines of your walls, you may not be doing, all these ostentatious, the practices, but, by mind and the intellect, you are constantly focusing on and you are trying to have the thoughts like that and all. And the simple practices, it's not a very, very detailed practice. And you can do in 5 minutes also a puja and 5 hours also a puja. It's not the hour that is important, but your mindfulness in those even 5 seconds if you are doing. Even if you are in front of your, because you have separate location in your house where the energy is full. That has to be there. Then alayam, because alaya is where you are getting merged. When you are getting into the temple, what you do? You leave your chappals. And sometimes you will have to leave your vehicle also. You maybe 50 lakhs vehicle, you will have to leave out. Then you go there. Likewise, when you are doing, in your own rituals, you will have to leave all other thoughts, all other engagements, phone calls, what is likely to happen. You be there at that point of time. And then, because alayam is, alayaha in Sanskrit, they say when you go to the temple, because it's a consecrated place. When God is everywhere, the energy has been concentrated at one particular place so that it can be distributed to the people who come and have it. But are they getting it? That is the problem. But you go there and you think of so many other things, but you don't get merged. But when you go and come out of the temple, you have to leave all your this dasagriva, because raha, dvesha, kama, moha, all those things you leave it and you have to come with a pristine pure person out. But instead of that, because as we leave the chapels, but we don't leave all these thoughts, we take our thoughts also inside the temple, we come and so this is exactly, this concept that has been explained in this. This is basically Om is just when it is recited from the Nabi and it takes away the entire being. As we were telling, when you are doing a Brahmari in yoga, by closing your eyes and closing your ears, when you recite from the Nabi, it reverberates the entire body and you get the energy all through the body. That is what, this Om is again. And with this, he has highlighted, the essentials of Om, because it is the every mantra starts with Om. And every mantra finally in the Brahma Sutram, which is written by the Vyasa, which is the without which you will not be able to understand the Vedas or Upanishad, it always starts with Om and ends with Om. It is being covered in the protective security of Om. It is such a great protector of entire things. So that is why Om is so high. He given so much importance. Next mantra onwards, he is going to take. And in fact, you will find some of you who are familiar with Gita, whether it is Gita, whether it is Kathopanishad. It is absolutely you will finding it is nothing but the Gita, because some of the verses have been taken as it is from here to Gita. Because Vedanta is in Upurushiya much earlier. So when Gita has been recited by Krishna and written by Vyasa, some of the mantras have already come here and we will see what is that. Because with all these things, we will always have to keep in mind the highest bliss that Om can offer. The Om is the first and primordial syllabus that will be guiding not only this world now and here, it will be eternally guiding everything else. That's what Emma wants to say. With this, we will be closing our today's session and we will be going for a meditation. Last week, we couldn't go through the meditation. It is a suktam called Ratri Suktam. Ratri in the sense, the night, we know Ratri meanings. Ra in the sense, the one which is blemishless. Three, because when we say, because when in the night also, we have got, all the Jagrata Sthana, waking stage, 3 in the sense, and Swapna Sthana, Sushupta Sthana, 3, Traya. Ra Traya, when he is there, we have to be guided and we have to be taken out of any fear psychosis we may be having. As well, we will have to be full of energy because when the moon is reflecting the light of the sun in the night, he gives the choicest blessings and he gives the choicest light. Are you able to take it? Because that is what the Ratri Suktam says. It is basically the Devi is the Devata of Ratri, Durga is the Devata, the Chandas is the Anushtup, it is there. The Rishis are, because Ratri Suktam is written by various, there is two Ratri Suktams are there. One is in Devi Mahatmya and another one is in the Rig Veda, it is there. Today we are going to take the Rig Veda Ratri Suktam. Next week we will be taking the Devi Mahatmya. Both will give energy to you and it will make you fearless. Let us understand one thing. Fearless is not something, because all of us may be thinking we are fearless and all. We do have a lot of lurking fears. That is why, every day, because we react. If there is no fear, we would not be reacting at all. Krodha, the reason is insecurity or ignorance. We are having both abundantly. To remove this only, these suktams will take away both and make it into effulgent being. We will be going for that. And immediately I will put it. Sahana bhavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvina vadidamastuma vishvidavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.